to another video. In this one we're looking at section 3.4 and it's on trig problem solving. So we're going to be given some problems and we're going to have to use everything that we've learned in this section. So we're going to have to use our SOHCAHTOA, so our primary trig ratios. We're going to have to use our sine law and our cosine law, and sometimes we might even have to use a combination of more than one thing. So first we got is some definitions that we should have seen before, hopefully. So angles of elevation and angles of depression. So an angle of elevation is just the angle above the horizontal. So if you were standing, say right here, that was you, and if you look horizontal, that's just this right here, but as soon as you look up, that is your angle of elevation. Same kind of idea for angle of depression, but this is below the horizontal. So if you were looking this way and then you look down, maybe you were up in a plane and then you look down, that's your angle of depression. So depression is down, elevation is up. So in our first example here, it says Joey wants to determine the height of a kite. He enlists the help of his friend Bob, who is standing 90 meters away. So let's just draw a quick little picture of our two guys. That's going to be our ground. We'll draw one guy here, draw a second guy here, and they are going to be 90 meters apart. So I'm going to put 90 meters down here on the bottom. So it says Joey uses a clinometer, that's just a measurement tool to find the angle, and he determines that the angle of elevation to the kite is 62 degrees. Bob determines that his angle of elevation is 37 degrees. Over here, let's put a J for Joey, and let's put a B over here for Bob. So Joey said he measured his angle all the way up to the kite, and it was 62 degrees. And then Bob measured his angle all the way up to the kite, and it was 37 degrees. Now I'm not drawing this to scale, right? This angle should be much smaller. It's 37 degrees. It's just to get an idea of the triangle that we're going to be dealing with. So our kite is up here. I'll draw a simple little kite, and then our string would be coming down to one of the guys. And then the very last thing it said in the question was assume the kite string touches the ground. Okay, so the string comes all the way down to the ground, and that's why our triangle is on the ground. It's not kind of floating up at their eye level or wherever their hands are. It's down on the ground. So we want to find how high is this kite. So the height of the kite is going from the kite down to the bottom. So let's label that. And we're going to label that just X. That is what we want to find at the very end. So let's start by first finding some missing things, and we want to eventually get to that X. So I have these two other angles. If I have two angles in a triangle, I can definitely find the third one quite easily. So this angle right here, it's just going to be 180 degrees, and then take away the 62 degree angle, take away the 37 degree, and that's going to give me 81. So I know that angle in there, this whole angle right there, that is 81 degrees. So if I know that that is 81 degrees and that is opposite from this 90 meters, I can use those two as a matching opposite pair. And then I could either use the 37 degree angle or the 62 to make another opposite matching pair. So I'm just going to choose the 37 degree, and that's going to help me find this side. I'll just call it Y. So if I am finding Y, I'm going to put Y over sine of the angle across from it, which was 37 degrees, and that is going to equal, and then I use my second pair, so that was 90 meters over sine of the angle across from the 90, which was 81. Okay, and then to get rid of the sine 37, I can multiply by sine 37. Those will cancel out. Just got to remember, do it on the other side as well. And so I get Y is equal to 90 times sine of 37 divided by sine of 81 degrees. Okay, and then I'll put that into my calculator, and you're going to get 54.8385. ... There's some more decimals after that. So now that we have that, what I want you guys to look at is this triangle right here. Okay, this is a right triangle. okay, because there's a 90 degree right in this spot right here. So I can use my primary trig ratios. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw that triangle over here, and then I'm going to put my measurements on it. So that was a 90. This was 62 degrees in there. And this side we just found was about 54.8 and then some other decimals. And I can use that to find this side here. That was the side that we wanted to get, that x, the height of the kite. So this is opposite from the angle, and this is the hypotenuse. So if I got opposite and hypotenuse, that tells me I can use the sine ratio. So sine of theta is O over h, and then I'm going to fill it in. So sine of 62 degrees equals opposite is x, hypotenuse is 54.8 dot dot dot. There's more decimals after that. And then I'm going to multiply on both sides by that 54. So times by 54.8, and that's going to cancel there. And then we do the same on the other side, so 54.8. So I can see that x is going to equal 54.8 times by sine of 62 degrees. And when I do that, I am going to get 48.4195. So 48.4195, and then some more decimals. And in this question, it didn't say what to round to, so we're just going to round it to the nearest tenth. So we're going to get 48 point, and that 1 is not going to round up to 4, so we get 48.4, and our units were meters. So there's our answer to the first one, 48.4 meters. Moving to the next one, it says solve for the unknown variable. So we want to find that missing side x there. So in this case, I can see here's a matching pair, and here's another matching pair. So whenever we had those opposite matching pairs, that was just our sine law. So x over sine of the angle across from it, 49, equals, and then our other matching pair, that was 10, and it went with sine of 63. Okay, so multiply first on both sides by sine of 49. So sine 49 there, sine 49 there, and then our sine 49 and that sine 49, they cancel out. And so we get x equals 10 times sine of 49, all divided by sine of 63. Okay, and then I'll take that, put that into my calculator, and that's going to give me x is equal to 8.4703. And then, of course, there's more decimals after that. And then I'm going to round this to the nearest tenth. Okay, so that 7 is going to round the 4 up, so I get 8.5, and our units were centimeters. Okay, then we're on to this next one, and we're finding that side x. So here I got a side, an angle, and then a side. So that side, angle, side scenario, that told us that we needed to use the cosine law. So I got to use cosine law for this one. So remember our cosine law, it was a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times by cos of a. And these two, remember, this and this, they had to be the same letter. So if I'm finding this side, remember that's across from this angle, so those two are the ones across from each other in the equation. So a squared is the thing we don't know, that's x squared. And then the b and the c, it doesn't matter which one is really b or c. So I'm just going to label them like that. So that's going to be 11 squared plus, and then 21 squared minus 2 times the b, that was 11, times by c, which is 21, and then times by cos of a, that's the angle, 73 degrees. So then we start to simplify this, and we can take this whole thing here, just put that into your calculator, just make sure you're careful, and you're going to get 426.92 dot dot dot. And then to get rid of the square around the x, we just got to take square root. So square root that side, square root that side, square root cancel, and x is equal to 20.66 and then some other decimals, so that 6 is going to round that 6 up, and you're going to get 20.7 centimeters. So that first page is now done. We're going to go on to this next one. And here we're finding this side y. So here we got two sides and an angle, and we're asked to find that other side. So remember cosine law. Cosine law can only be used if you're given all three sides, or like in that last situation, we had side, angle, side. So we don't, in this case, we don't have side, 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 and we don't have side, angle, side. So I can't use cosine law. I can't use the primary trig ratios because I don't see a 90 degree anywhere. So I'm thinking we're probably going to have to use the sine law here. So I have this matching pair. That's good. And then I have one other side that I'm given. So I could use that side to find the opposite matching angle with it. So I'll do that first, and that'll get me this angle. And then at least I have two angles. Then I'm going to be able to find the third angle. And then I can use that third angle to find that third side. Okay, so first let's find this. Let's just call it x. So we're going to have sine of x over the one across from it was a 6 equals sine of the other matching pair, 76 degrees, divided by the side that went with it was an 8. And then to solve this, I'm going to have to multiply both sides by 6. So times by 6. Times by 6, 6's cancel. Then we got sine of x equals 6 times sine of 76 degrees divided by 8. And then we still got to get rid of the sine here. So to get rid of that sine, we got to take sine inverse. So sine inverse this side, and then sine inverse the whole other side. And then the sine and the sine inverse cancel, and we only get x on the left now. And then this whole thing here, I can take that and put that into my calculator. Okay, so let's get out our calculator and let's put this in. So turn your calculator on and make sure it is in degree mode again. So down, down, over, click enter. So we're going to start by doing sine inverse. So second sine, it opens up the bracket, and then we go 6 times sine, and then open up bracket, goes 76. Close that bracket, and then divide by the 8. And then we need to do this final big closing bracket. And then we can click enter. So we're going to get 46.695. So 46.695, and then there's some other decimals. Okay, now this number that we just got, we don't want to round that quite yet because that's not the side we're finding. We want to wait till the very end and then round this number. So let's keep this and let's use that in our next calculation. So we needed to find this other missing angle we said. So to find that missing angle, remember there's 180 degrees in a triangle, and then we're going to remove these other angles that we have. So we had 76, and we just found this 46.695 degree angle. And when I subtract those, I'm going to get that this is equal to about 57.30, and then there's some other decimals after that. Okay, and then we're going to call this angle, because it's across from y, we're going to call this angle y. So I'm just going to put that there. So now that I have that angle, I can use that in my last step to find that missing side y. So let's move our calculator out of the way and let's find that side y. So I'm just going to do that here on the right side. So we can use the sine law or the cosine law. Sine law is going to be easiest, so let's use sine. So y over sine of the side across from it, that was at 57.30 number, equals, and then I can choose any other matching side. I'm going to choose the 8, and the sine of the angle across from that, that was 76 degrees. Okay, so to solve this, just multiply on both sides by sine of that 57 number, and you're going to get 8 times sine of 57.30 ... all divided by sine of 76 degrees, and then we'll throw that all into our calculator. And when you throw that into your calculator, you're going to get about 6.91. And then rounding this to the nearest tenth, the 1 is not going to round up to 9, so y is equal to 6.9, and our units, these were all in centimeters. Okay, so now that we're done with that one, we're on to our very last one here. So it says determine the distance from point A to point D. So that's right here, from A to D. So we want to find that there, and I'm just going to call that x. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start kind of where we're given a lot of information, right? And then we're going to have to work towards getting this x here. So in this triangle on the left, I have these two angles. So I could find this third angle really easy. So let's do that first. So 180 degrees, subtract out 71 degrees, and then subtract out 56 degrees. That is going to equal 53 degrees. So that is for this angle right in there. So that is 53 degrees. And now that I know that angle, I actually have a matching pair here. So I could start to use that for the sine law. And remember, what we wanted to do was we wanted to start to work from this triangle and get information to work towards this x. So I want to try to find something on this triangle. So I would like to find this side. So I'm going to label that side B because it's across from angle B. And there is another pair. So the B goes with the angle 71 degrees. So let's find that B. So B over sine of 71 degrees equals, and then use that other matching pair. So 105 meters divided by sine of 53. And then to solve that, just multiply on both sides by sine of 71. So you get 105 times sine of 71 degrees, and then divided by sine of 53 degrees. Okay, and then using our calculator to get that, you're going to get about 124.31 ... There's more decimals after that. Again, we don't want to round because this isn't the last thing we are trying to find. So now that I have that, I see, because I got this side and because I got this side, and I have the angle in between, I now have that side angle side scenario. So if I got side angle side, I can use the cosine law. So let's do that down here. I'll just write out our formula. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times by b times by c times by cos of a. So I am finding this side. The angle across from it is 43. So in my formula, this needs to be x squared, and the cos has to be cos of that angle across from it, 43 degrees. And then the b and the c, again, it doesn't matter which one is which. So I'm going to put the b one here first. That is that number we just found, so it's that, and then squared plus the c was the 208 squared minus, and I'm just going to have to move this piece over, minus 2 times that 124.31 times by 208, and then times by that cos of 43. Okay, so simplifying that right-hand side, if you throw all of this in your calculator, you're going to get 20,896.4368, and then some more decimals. And then again, to get rid of the square over here, gotta take the square root. So square root the left and square root the right, square root cancel, and then I got x equals, and then square rooting that, you'll get 144.5559, and then some other decimals. Okay, and then, because this was the very last thing we wanted to find, now I can round my answer. So x is going to equal 144, and we're going to round it to the nearest tenth. That 5 will round it up, so we get a 6. So 144.6, and then the units, meters. So that was our last example. At the bottom here now, I'm just going to write our textbook questions. And then I just want to point something out here for number 3. That one uses directions, and your diagram is actually already drawn for you on the page. So just look for the diagram there.